Honestly, looking back, there isn't anything I would do differently. I know that the moment you get pregnant, you start questioning everything. I'm grateful to be in a position where I know a pretty good amount about food and nutrition and could lean on that wisdom for the most part. But of course, there are still moments of doubt. And now that I see my perfect angel of a child, healthy and thriving, it just further confirms my confidence in the choices I made. Do you struggle to stay consistent with healthy eating and just want food decisions to be easy, guilt-free, and sustainable? You're in the right place. I'm Chelsea, nutritionist and fitness coach who overcame restrictive yo-yo dieting and body image insecurities using simple nutrition tools, all backed by biblical principles. And now I help women like you find that same freedom with food so you can feel confident in the look and health of your body for decades to come. I'm ready to dive in with you. So open your notes app and let's go. Can I be honest? Pregnancy and motherhood were way more overwhelming than I ever anticipated. So many decisions, plus hormones, a body that changes daily, and just feeling totally not myself. It was a lot, and it still is. The thing that I am so grateful for was a nutrition plan that I could trust was totally healthful and nourishing without having to put extra thought into it. I could just run on autopilot because everything was mapped out for me. It saved me from having to make yet another decision when I could barely get out of bed. If you are pregnant, planning to become pregnant, or a mom with littles already here, I encourage you to schedule a strategy session with me to get your nutrition plan established before it becomes another stressor. You can book your hour-long call at coachrain.com/dietfree. And let me be part of your village and take care of the whole "what should I eat" thing. Again, that's coachreign.com/diet-free. And now, welcome to Nutrition for Christian Women. What should you eat while you're pregnant? Because I coach a lot of women who actually finally get pregnant after going through the Sustainable Way, my one-on-one nutrition coaching program, they often come back and ask for guidance with nutrition during their pregnancy. So this is a question I get a lot, and I thought I would share with you exactly how I navigated nutrition during my own pregnancy, because I think it may come as a surprise to some of you. The reality versus expectations certainly caught me off guard, so I think some transparency from me may help a mama out there navigate her own journey. Let's start with first trimester. Now, if you listened to my motherhood mini-series, which are episodes 73, 74, and 75, you know that I had a really difficult first trimester. I was super blessed to be perfectly healthy in terms of all of my vitals, but I was horrendously ill when it came to nausea and appetite. There wasn't a single day from weeks 9 through 17 that I didn't throw up at least once, usually multiple times throughout the entire day, not just exclusively in the morning. I didn't have any cravings, but I did have very strong aversions, and not necessarily to foods, but mostly to smells. There was actually one day my husband grilled some chicken wings that he was really excited about, and I had to lock myself in our bedroom because the aroma was so nauseating to me. And then, of course, he smelled like the chicken, and it was just a disaster. In fact, I still cannot stand the smell of those chicken wings anymore. Poor guy. What I found was that I could eat mostly anything as long as I wasn't there while I was being prepared. If it came to me fully cooked, I was fine to eat it, which poses an issue when you don't want to eat out because you are growing a human and you know that it's pretty much impossible to avoid things like seed oils when you eat anywhere outside of your own kitchen. So I ended up exploring meal prep companies. I knew that this was my best chance to get real ingredients that were already cooked for me, and I probably tried 6 or 7 different companies before I found one that checked all of my boxes, which were high protein, that was actually high protein, customizable orders, meaning I could pick which meals I got each week instead of a prefix menu, no seed oils, and ideally included vegetables. You would be surprised how few companies include vegetables in all of their meals. But I finally found one that also didn't break the bank, and my husband and I both lived on those, plus the occasional hot food bar from our local grocery store, for pretty much all of first and second trimester. It was humbling for me as someone who teaches women how to make all their meals from home very easily and simply, but cooking just made me so sick that this became the next best option. It was also really tough for me mentally because I was not eating up to the standards I knew I should be in order to give my baby the best possible start to life. I mean, there was a week where, I kid you not, all I could stomach were popsicles and cinnamon rolls. I had cinnamon rolls for dinner every day. My husband doesn't let me forget it, which is a far cry from my normal diamond meals. But I did learn that baby gets the best of you. So I was really grateful to have set my body up for success in the months leading up to conception so that she could thrive off of what I had already built. And in my mind, I could accept that it was my body that would suffer from the lack of nutrition because I knew I could reverse that in time. So if you are listening to this and are experiencing a similar first trimester, know that right now, it's just about surviving. Your baby will get the best of whatever you can do, and this season is very short. Make some non-negotiables for yourself in terms of quality of ingredients, but then give yourself some grace to do the best you can and be okay with that. The boxes I ordered from that meal prep company pretty much fed us exclusively during first and second trimester. And then when we got to third trimester, I was much better able to cook for us, and I had much fewer smell aversions, so diamond meals slowly made their way back into our routine. Now, let's talk about some specifics that I ate throughout pregnancy. First of all, carrots and peanut butter were pretty much a staple the entire time. Raw carrots were one of the only vegetables that I wasn't averse to, and I basically used them as a spoon for peanut butter. Cottage cheese and crackers made a strong appearance as well. It was tricky to find crackers made without seed oils, but they do exist, admittedly at a premium, but I was desperate. And fruit. Oh my gosh, fruit. If I craved anything, it was fruit. Although I learned the hard way not to eat too much watermelon, as that definitely induced some vomiting. But dang, I am so grateful I was pregnant during the summer months because fruit became like candy. It actually tasted so much sweeter to me than usual. And evolutionarily speaking, I think I probably craved a lot of fruits because it is so hydrating. There are natural electrolytes, and usually fruit is encased in a skin that keeps it from getting infected by foodborne pathogens. Which leads me to my next point. There are a lot of rules, or rather recommendations, about foods to avoid during pregnancy for risk of contamination and food poisoning. Sushi is on that list, even though the Japanese continually eat sushi and have some of the longest lifespans on Earth. I actually did follow that rule and didn't have sushi at all during pregnancy, but not because it was a rule, rather because I just really didn't desire it at any point. Some of the rules I did break were, number 1, cold cuts and deli meat. And this one is somewhat unusual for me because I don't really eat deli meat normally. But there were a couple of days where, man, I just needed a cold sandwich. The reason it is recommended to avoid cold cut deli meats is because they could be contaminated with listeria, which is fatal to infants and newborns if contracted. However, the risk of that is very low, and while everyone has to make their own decisions, and you might be listening to me thinking that I'm crazy for risking it, I felt totally comfortable with that choice. and sincerely enjoyed my sandwiches. Another controversial one I did was drink raw milk. I mean, this is controversial even while not being pregnant. And while I didn't drink a lot of it, I personally felt better about drinking raw milk than a plant-based alternative with a bunch of fillers and mystery ingredients, or conventional dairy that is pasteurized and homogenized, which causes a lot of inflammation because it's pretty unrecognizable to the body after we process it so much. And the Lord gave us milk and honey, so as long as I was sourcing it well from a reputable rancher, I felt totally confident drinking raw milk. I also made my own mayonnaise, which is generally not recommended because it has raw eggs in it. But I felt okay because I sourced my eggs well. I washed them before cracking them, since the bacteria that usually makes people sick from raw eggs is living on the outside of the shell. After all, hens essentially poop them out. But then I used my homemade mayo to make chicken salad, which became a high-protein staple for me. I also always carried a protein or an RX bar with me in case I found my blood sugar dropping. I was actually a faint risk throughout pregnancy, and I fainted a few times, actually. And that's simply because my blood pressure naturally is just so low. I mean, my resting heart rate when I'm not pregnant is generally in the low 40s, upper 30s. And so there were a few waves of fetal growth where the blood volume needed to sustain both me and baby took a bit to catch up, which meant I would pass out. So yeah, I never left the house without some kind of snack, which definitely came in handy a few times. As far as supplements go, I tried taking prenatals for the first several weeks, but I found that they contributed to my nausea even more. So I switched to fish oil with vitamin D plus beef liver capsules. I did take Unisom and B-complex pretty religiously during my super nauseous period, but that was really the extent of my supplementation. My nutritional non-negotiables were 1, to avoid seed oils and food dyes as strictly as I was avoiding alcohol. 2, I followed the EWG's Dirty Dozen and Clean 15 list as closely as possible for organic produce. 3, eat as much protein as I could tolerate. And 4, make hydration my part-time job. Honestly, looking back, there isn't anything I would do differently. I know that the moment you get pregnant, you start questioning everything. I'm grateful to be in a position where I know a pretty good amount about food and nutrition and could lean on that wisdom for the most part. But of course, there are still moments of doubt. And now that I see my perfect angel of a child, healthy and thriving, it just further confirms my confidence in the choices I made. If you are listening to this and are pregnant or planning to become pregnant and would like some help coming up with the exact plan that works for you to keep both you and your baby healthy, I encourage you to schedule a strategy call with me. Head to coachrain.com/dietfree to schedule a 1-hour session, and I will map out exactly what to do based on your body, your lifestyle, and your goals. There is so much mental overwhelm that comes with welcoming a child into the world, but your dietary plan does not need to be part of that. That's what I'm here for. Again, that's coachreign.com/dietfree, and I will help you be free from that mental burden. I pray this episode was helpful to you, my friend. If so, could you do me a massive favor and take 30 seconds to write a review? This is the best way to bless me big and help more people learn just how simple eating healthy consistently can be. And if you want more value-packed info from me, head to coachrain.com and sign up for the weekly harvest. My weekly emails filled with recipes, how to use food as medicine, biblical nutrition, and more. That's coachreign.com for all the goods. Blessings until next time, sis. Toodles.